we're good to go. Go to the crop production show.
Today's the last day?
Today's the last day, yeah.
42?
42nd annual
Western
Canadian crop production show.
Western and Eastern is different?
Yeah, totally different farming. Quick walkthrough through here.
What's the best pricing? 306. Then you're going to be running into.
Still haven't seen.
You've got to make even more and have more.
So I see you've written a book here. You want to kind of go over the genesis of this book, what's in the book?
Sure. Since I've been involved in the ag business all my life, I frequently get asked questions that are hard, that are legitimate questions from a consumer. And a consumer might say to me, I think you're using fertilizer and crop protection products, chemicals, and it's killing the soil, for example. And sometimes farmers would rather just farm than get into a controversial conversation. And so sometimes we change the subject and we don't answer the question. And I think we in agriculture as farmers need to step up and tell our story. And so the book is written for the average grocery shopper in Toronto, Winnipeg, Toronto, LA, wherever. And I want consumers that buy food to understand that we believe and we know that the food we're producing is produced, I would say, ethically and in a safe manner. So they shouldn't be scared of buying food at a grocery store.
For sure. So if someone was interested in reading your book, how would they get a copy of it?
So our book is for sale at most bookstores. It's also available at Amazon.com or .ca. The soft copy is $24.95 in Canada, and the hard copy is $34.95 in Canada.
Right on. You doing a book tour soon?
Yes, so we are going to be launching a consumer campaign in Canada in the next 2 months, where we will be advertising the book and promoting our farmer story to consumers in large urban centers. And we're going to be in Denver, Colorado, launching a U.S. consumer campaign around how we farm and why we think it's important to do what we do to help feed the world and feed the world safely.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Dennis, and we'll hope you get lots of sales.
Good, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so you're okay with being on camera and doing a quick interview?
Sure. Do you want to go somewhere quiet or?
Oh, this is
okay?
fine.
Okay.
Right in your booth is fine.
Yeah, sure.
Home turf for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Aaron, why don't you explain to the viewers what the Crop Development Center is, what its purpose, and why it's important for farming?
For sure. Yeah, so the Crop Development Center has been around for about 50 years. We're associated with the University of Saskatchewan. It was originally set up back in the 70s in order to diversify the crops that were being grown in Western Canada, because at the time there were very few options, and there were some negative aspects associated with that. So right now at the Crop Development Center there's 5 or 6 plant breeders and 2 or 3 plant pathologists. So we look after breeding crops like barley, oats, flax, chickpeas, lentils, peas, beans, wheat and germ wheat, and then we also have someone who does forages. So we stay away from some of the bigger crops like canola or corn or soybeans because those are generally being handled by the private industry a lot. So we basically interact a lot with the farm community, with the end users. We try to get a sense of what they're all looking for in new varieties, and we try to basically accommodate those needs there.
So what are some of the technological breakthroughs that you've had recently that would be beneficial to food production?
Yeah, so generally the way we kind of incorporate any sort of knowledge or technology is through the release of these varieties that farmers grow. So most of the programs that are in the CDC would be using a lot of genetics and genomics tool to help us understand the genes in these various crops and what they do, and to try to select for sort of the best combinations of those genes. We do a lot of work in growth facilities to help speed up this overall process. Some of us are using things like CRISPR, not so much to produce varieties, but just again to understand what genes do, so that then we can go back into the natural germplasm and select those beneficial genes that we use.
So these beneficial genes, are you looking to prevent disease, increase herbicide resistance,
Right.
increase yield? Is that the
Yes.
kind of stuff you're looking for?
Absolutely, yeah. We kind of break it down into three major categories. So one would be agronomics. So those would mainly be things like yield, how long it takes a plant to mature, how tall it grows, those sorts of things. Disease would be a big part of it. So obviously, if we can incorporate genetic resistance in these varieties, and that means there's less need to use fungicides on these crops. And then the last one would be quality. So if quality varies by crop, but essentially those are the things that the customer are most interested in. So what something looks like, what something tastes like, or the nutritional composition of that crop.
So in a crop like durum, would you try to make it more resistant to being easily downgraded from moisture levels during harvest, or?
Yeah, it would be probably like the germ breeder here would probably focus on a number of diseases like some of the insect diseases like sawfly, a number of the leaf rusts would be important to him. And on the quality aspect, yeah, things like test weight, so how dense that grain is will be an important factor, but also some of the properties that are important to a pasta maker in terms of what they're looking for when they're producing pasta, one of the big ones being the color. So that nice yellow color that pasta tends to have, that comes from the durum, and they actually breed to make sure that that color is in the grain.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any final words you'd like to say to the viewer about the importance of CDC, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to know. I think people to know that there's people out there like them that care about what we're eating and what we're growing, and trying to find better ways to grow things with having a minimal impact on the environment in general. So those things are top of mind, not only for us, but for the people that we work for too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, Mike, you're welcome. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah.